We go to senior part 2, Abhidhamma, question 1. Enumerate the door-free consciousness, dwara vimutta. Next, on the introduction. So in Theravada Abhidhamma, there are 89 cittas. These cittas can be categorized in various ways, depending on which perspectives of looking at it, such as planes, doors, bases, functions, etc. With regard to this question, we may look from the perspective of doors, that is a door where the citta arises. Thus, we may look from the perspective of cognitive process or the door-free consciousness. So in this case, for the work under the document file, I do have the cognitive process. But for this presentation, I go straight to the door-free consciousness. Next. So the door-free consciousness. From the consciousness function perspective, the door-free consciousness function as rebirth linking, life continuum, and death consciousness. Though these are labeled separately as 3 types of consciousness, in a given life, they are of the same type of consciousness, that is the resultant consciousness. And these consciousness are 1, 2 rootless investigating resultant consciousness accompanied by equanimity. Take note that in the case of investigating, there are three resultant consciousness, but the one that is accompanied by equanimity is included, but not the one that is accompanied by happiness. The second one is the 8 great resultant consciousness, the 8 Mahavipaka Citta. Then the third one is the 9 sublime resultant consciousness, or the 9 Mahagata Vipaka Citta, which comprises of 5 Rupa Vipaka Citta as well as the 4 Arupa Vipaka Citta. So total, there are 19 consciousness. Next. So in detail, these are, because the question asks for enumerate. So because of that, we have to enumerate. That means we have to list out those door-free consciousness. So since there are 19 of it, so I've broken it into 3 pages. So the first one is the rootless investigating unwholesome resultant consciousness accompanied by equanimity. The second one is the rootless investigating wholesome resultant consciousness accompanied by equanimity. So if you look at the green box, the note there, so the 1 and 2 are considered as rootless, ahetuka vipaka. Then the third one is the 1 great resultant consciousness accompanied by happiness associated with knowledge unprompted. Sometimes, if time permits, I will write the Pali as well. That means the Mahavipaka Citta, which is, or rather they say, it should be Somanasa Sahagata, Jnana Sampayota Asankarika Mahavipaka Citta. That is the way the Pali is phrased. Then the fourth one is the 1 great resultant consciousness accompanied by happiness associated with knowledge prompted. So 3 and 4 is a pair, for unprompted and prompted. Then the fifth one is the 1 great resultant consciousness accompanied by happiness dissociated with knowledge unprompted. Then the 6th one is the 1 great resultant consciousness accompanied by happiness dissociated with knowledge prompted. So 5th and 6th is also a pair, that is result knowledge. Then the 7th is 1 great resultant consciousness accompanied by equanimity associated with knowledge unprompted. 1 great resultant consciousness accompanied by equanimity associated with knowledge prompted. So 7 and 8 is 1 pair. Then the 9 and 10 is another pair. So if 7 to 10 is accompanied by equanimity. four of these resultant is actually accompanied by equanimity. And they are the Mahavipaka Chittas. And now we go to the 11. The first absorption form resultant consciousness together with initial application, sustained application, zest, happiness, and one-pointedness. Sometimes they say together with, or sometimes they say associated with, or there are few versions of English translation. Then the number 12 is the second absorption form resultant consciousness together with sustained application, zest, happiness, and one-pointedness. Then the 13 is third absorption form resultant consciousness together with zest, happiness, and one-pointedness. 14 is the fourth absorption form resultant consciousness together with happiness and one-pointedness. 15 is the fifth absorption form resultant consciousness together with equanimity and one-pointedness. So the 11 to 15 are the form resultant or the rupa vipaka, and these are all three rooteds. Then next we go to the arupa vipaka. So the 16 is resultant consciousness pertaining to the base of infinite space. 17 is the resultant consciousness pertaining to the base of infinite consciousness. 18 is resultant consciousness pertaining to the base of nothingness. The number 19, the last one, is the resultant consciousness pertaining to the base of neither perception nor non-perception. So these are also three-rooted vipaka citta. Okay, next. So the beings in woeful planes are born with rootless resultant consciousness, that is 1 and 2, the ahetuka vipaka. If a human being is born with rootless investigating wholesome resultant consciousness, accompanied by neutrality, that is the number two, that is the ahetuka kusala vipaka, then he or she is born with deformity, or there is a defect. Even though he's a human being, which is a good sugati plane, but there is a defect. So generally, beings in the human and the six deva planes are born with 2 wholesome rooted and the 3 wholesome rooted rebirth linking consciousness. That is from 3 to 10, the great resultant, the Mahavipaka. So for those 2 rooters, they'll be those with result knowledge. Those with 3 rooters are with knowledge. So human being born with 3 rooted has the potential to attain higher knowledge, namely form and formless absorption, or rupa, arupa, and arupa jhana, as well as transcendent, that is the lokutara, which is the path, marga, and the fruit, phala. Beings in the rupa planes are born with their respective form absorption, resultant consciousness. And within the same absorption, I mean, if they are first rupa, then there are also different planes or different levels within the plane. And these are due to the different quality of the absorption skills. That means even if the beings may have first rupa jhana, but their quality or their skills of the rupa jhana may vary. So as a result, when they are reborn there, they'll be reborn in the different level within that same plane. Similarly, beings in the four arupa planes are born with their respective formless absorption resultant consciousness. But in the case of arupa planes, there is no further divisions in the so-called absorption skills. So next. So these 19 resultant consciousness as a conclusion. So these 19 resultant consciousness function as rebirth linking, life continuum, and death functions. But besides these functions, in the case of consciousness 1 and 2, that is the ahituka vipaka, also function as investigating function in the 5 doors, and as registration, tadara mana, function in all the 6 doors. And for consciousness 3 to 10, which is the maha vipaka citta, also function as registering function, that is tadara mana, in all the 6 doors. It's only the consciousness from 11 to 19 that is the rupa vipaka as well as arupa vipaka. They only perform 3 functions and no other functions, and therefore they are totally door free. With that, I end my presentation. Thank you.
Brother Ko, sorry,
Yes.
can you go to the section A with the maha vipaka?
Section A, okay.
This one. Okay, this one. One
Okay.
way resultant consciousness accompanied by happiness. This is somanasa, right?
Yes.
But it's not pleasant feeling. My happiness is sukha, right?
Sometimes they use happiness, sometimes they use joy. So I'm not too sure. So sometimes happiness and joy is...
Okay.
Because,
I thought in the Rupa Vachara, we use the sukha as a happiness, as a joy. But others, they use pleasant feeling, right?
In Pali, is clearer. That's why English sometimes... but because in YMBA, I think they emphasizes more on English, because the Pali that we use...
YMBA, did they put happiness? I try to find the word there. It's not happiness, it's pleasant feeling.
Somanasa is pleasant feeling,
but here then the happiness is what? It's pleasant feeling, right?
Yeah, it's a pleasant feeling.
No, what am I trying to say is that the happiness, the word macam tak betul, or is it okay?
I don't know. Some of it, they put it this way. If you put pleasant feeling also can. It may be clearer, I would say. But because sometimes I thought happiness is easier, faster. Okay? You say pleasant feeling is 2 words.
No, I'm saying if you write like this, whether the examiner will accept or the examiner will think that you meant sukha. It's just that.
Can produce all this, examiner will give you top marks. Yeah, you can't produce this all the way. I tell you, so many to remember.
No, fortunately, these are quite easy to remember in my case, because I've been following it. It's just that sometimes if in YMBA, if I use too many Pali words, I don't know whether it's okay or not, because they seem to use happiness for the somanasa rather than the pleasant feeling, is it?
Yes, yes.
So YMBA and the Burma one will use pleasant feeling more than happiness, is it? Or joy. Is it?
I read pleasant feeling also. Where do you read happiness?
Never mind, it's up to you.
Okay. Actually, okay.
Well, as I see, a lot of time, happiness is sukha. So manasa, usually they say pleasant feelings or joy. This is how I see lah.
Because joy also sometimes they say pity, If you look at the Ajahn Sujato, pity they use joy,
Yeah, pity is joy.
So sometimes, I mean, if I were to write joy also in a general sense, yes, it's also...
I'm thinking whether we should just stick to pleasant feeling. Because happiness, I think I read is more for sukha. It refers to the rupa vachara, that ekagata, that one. Vitaka,
Yes, yes.
Vichara, that one. Then you come
Yep.
to Sukha.
That's why when you look at the translation, for example, Bhikkhu Bodhi and Sujato, they also use different terms. You see. Sometimes I get confused also, I get mixed up also. So I find that if I can, when I'm in MBA, I try to use the Sri Lanka version, if I can remember lah. So as far as I can look at it, in YMBA, I think they use happiness for Somanasa.
Okay. So this is my question. Year 2010, when you see an object through the eye door, a series of consciousness arise in a particular order. Illustrate this fact in detail with explanation. Okay. Okay. So when you see an object through the eye, a series of consciousness arise in particular order. There is a life continuum consciousness, vibrating bhavanga consciousness, arrested bhavanga, five-door adventing consciousness, eye consciousness, receiving consciousness, investing consciousness, determining consciousness, impulsion consciousness, which occurred 7 times, that is the jhavana, and the registration consciousness that occurred 2 times. Now, this process happens incredibly fast in a fraction of a second. Now, understanding this sequence will help us to see how momentary and conditioned our perception really is, supporting the teaching of anicca, that is impermanence. Now, so here I illustrate the facts in detail with explanation. Life continuum, this is a passive state of consciousness like a stream flowing. It occurs when we are not actively connecting through any sense door, similar to dreamless sleep states. Number 2 is vibrating bhavanga. When a visible object strikes the eye sensitivity, the bhavanga stream begins to vibrate. First signal that connection process is starting. Number 3, arrested bhavanga. The bhavanga stream is interrupted. Make way for active consciousness to arise. Last moment of passive consciousness. Number 4, five-door adverting. First active consciousness in the process. Turn mind towards the sense door, functionally equivalent to attention. Number 5, eye consciousness. Actual seeing occur. Pure awareness of visible object, no recognition yet, just raw visual data. Number 6, receiving. Receive the object from the eye consciousness, like accepting a package without opening it, transitional state in connection. Number 7, investigation. Examine the object basic feature, determines whether it is present, unpresent, or neutral, still preliminary processing. Number 8, determining, decide what the object is, make final judgment before jhavana, important moral junction point. Number 9, jhavana, 7 times, fully experience the object, karma forming stage, where wholesome, unwholesome mental states arise. Most important, face karmically. Number 10, registration, 2 times, record the experience like an echo of jhavana, doesn't occur with weak object. Now, this process demonstrates several key Dhamma points, no permanent self-controlling the process, each moment condition the next. Speed show the rapid nature of change, which is anicca. Process happen automatically. That's like anatta. So understanding this help in seeing how attachment form, breaking the cycle at determination stage, developing mindfulness, realizing the impersonal nature of experience. This knowledge is particularly useful in Vipassana practice, where we observe this process in real-time experience. That's it for that question. Then my next question is, I think with Brother Ko is the same. Enumerate the door freak consciousness, but my one is not so detailed like Brother Ko one. Okay, so there are 19 types of door freak consciousness, altogether 19, 2 types of life continuums, 9 types of near-death consciousness, 4 types of friction attainment, 4 types of cessation attainment. Now, this type of consciousness operate independently of the sense door. They are not bound by usual process of cognition through the sense door, that is the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. Now, Bhavanga, life continuum, there's 2 types. That's Vatu Bhavanga, tied to physical base. Avatu Bhavanga, free from physical base. Bhavanga maintains the continuity of consciousness throughout the life and between life. It's like a stream that flows unless interrupted by active cognitive processes. Number 2, there is the near-death consciousness. There are altogether 9 types. 5 related to sense object, 3 related to mental object, 1 related to the present life object. This arises just before that and determine the nature of rebirth consciousness. Now, 3 Pala Sammapati, friction attainment. There are altogether 4 types. There is the stream entry friction, once returner friction, non-returner friction, arahant friction. Now, these are experienced by the noble one when entering their respective friction attainment. Number 4, cessation attainment, 4 types. Complete cessation of consciousness, cessation of perception and feeling, cessation of mental formation, cessation of sensory awareness. Now, only accessible to anagamis and arahant who have mastered all jhanas. Now, this consciousness operate independently of the usual cognitive process and don't require a sense door to arise. Now, door freak consciousness differs because they don't require any of these sense door to arise. They function outside the normal cognitive process. They operate independently of sensory input. They aren't bound by the usual sequence of consciousness moment that characterize door-bound consciousness. For example, Bhavanga flows naturally without requiring sensory input. Near-death consciousness operates beyond normal sensory processing. Friction attainment transcends ordinary sense door consciousness, completely transcend all doors bound consciousness. This is why the term door freak is used. They are free of liberated from the usual requirement of the sensory door for their operation. Okay, then this one is the last question that was given, question 9 for year 2024. What are the factors leading to deteriorate that mentioned in Parabhava Sutta? Okay, the sutta is actually a question by the deity and the Buddha, which each cause described as leading to one's downfall. Number 1 is hating the Dhamma. Number 2 is keeping bad company, associating with evil people. Number 3 is being fond of sleep, socializing, and being lazy. Number 4 is being disrespectful to parents. 5, deceiving others with false speech. 6, being wealthy but not supporting family. 7, being proud of birth, wealth, or clan and despising relative. 8, being a womanizer, drunken, or a gambler. Number 9, not being content with one's own wife, being seen with prostitute. Number 10, being elderly but marrying a young woman. 11, placing power in the hands of a woman. This is, of course, in the ancient society. Number 12, being a warrior, noble, with little wealth, but excessive craving. So with that, I finish all my 3 questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So thank you to everyone. So we'll close the session and I expect to see you in 2 weeks' time.